2 o'clock now on this Tuesday afternoon. You're watching continuous coverage of our winter storm that we are experiencing here in the Houston area. Plenty of ice out there on the roads that we're starting to see form throughout the area. A very dicey situation if you even attempted to get out there on the road. The big word from the mayor of Houston as well as Harris County Judge Ed Emmett: stay put. Stay where you are. You're much safer there today.
And unfortunately, things will get worse before they get better. That is the big takeaway right now as we approach the afternoon, as we head into night here. And of course, much more on our forecast. It continues to evolve as we have sleet and snow, and it has been a mess all day.
It has. All right, David Paul, so what are we looking at in the hours ahead?
It's a real winter storm across Houston and southeast Texas today. As we head through the afternoon hours, all the blue, sleet and snow, temperatures all at or below freezing, so it is going to stick, especially on those bridges and overpasses. Computers are suggesting that by 6 o'clock, a lot of this may transition to I-10 and then south to the coast. So folks, for the Galveston Causeway, if you got to get home, try to get home as soon as you can. So that if that does ice up, you don't get caught on the mainland or over on the island side. By 10:30 tonight, computers suggesting that the precipitation, the sleet and snow will push offshore, but then temperatures are going to drop. And our temperature forecast has us in the low to mid-20s by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm a little concerned that north of I-10, the temperatures may actually be a little colder than this. Bottom line is, any moisture on the bridges and overpasses left over this evening will freeze. And so I think tomorrow morning is going to be a much worse driving situation even than we have right now. Bottom line is just check in with us in the morning. We go on the air at 4:30 so you don't get caught trying to get going and your freeway is still shut down. I think the sun will come out during the mid-morning tomorrow, and by noon tomorrow, roads should be much more passable area-wide than they are right now. But right now we've got this light snow basically north of Spring Creek. You're getting light snow right now. It's dusting on top of the sleet and then getting very icy from Spring Creek south to Houston and especially down to the coast this evening. That's where the more focus will be of some of the heavier sleet and snow as we head deeper into the evening. I-10 down to the coast. Texas temps, Tyler's 22, Austin 27. Houston, we're still holding at 26 at Bush Continental Airport. Some of the computer models had us rising to 30 degrees this afternoon. That's not happening. And that's why I'm thinking that we will also be a little colder than computers are suggesting as we head through the overnight. 24 degrees up in Amarillo right now. Even Victoria is down at 28. So here we are today with our full-blown winter storm. Wednesday, the sun comes back out. Now we're mid to low 20s tomorrow morning. So again, tomorrow morning, the roads will still be icy when you get up. I think it will be mid to late morning that they begin to de-ice themselves with the sun coming out. And by lunch and after lunch, the road should become passable in most spots. That's what usually happens around here when we get an ice storm like this. Thursday, a 20% chance, 26 in the morning, 42 in the afternoon, staying cold. And then rain chances pick up. You have weekend plans, Saturday and Sunday could get rainy. All right, the roads have been the big story out here. And Blake's got an update on traffic out there. Show us some pictures. What's going on out there, Blake?
David, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a bobsled?
Yeah.
It's about the only way you're going to get around Houston these days, I think. You know, longtime Houstonians, both of us, and you know, I'm comparing this in my mind to January 1997. Yeah. You know, then that was back when, you know, we had more of a freezing rain event and all the trees were bent over and you would sit in your living room and hear, you know, snap, you know, we're not getting that this time, but, you know, take a look at this, David. If you look carefully, look at the snowflakes flying, David. Look at that. This is 45 north of Wilson Road. This is going to be in the Conroe area. So this is I-45 here. Traffic obviously very, very light, but this is very interesting. This is very telling. Look what happens when cold air gets underneath concrete. You can see where the road has frozen up completely versus where air cannot get under the concrete. So this is why we see the bridges and overpasses freeze up first thing. But you can see the snow coming down now across central Montgomery County. And again, I was speaking to my parents just a little while ago, and it is snowing there up near the Woodlands. So it looks like, again, once you cross over Spring Creek, I think this is really where you begin to see a lot of the snow issues. This is the East Tex Freeway now. This is getting up towards Kingwood, the San Jacinto River Bridge. And my goodness, David, when was the last time you saw something like that? This is truly something that exactly. So, hey, you know what? We like to welcome all the folks from up north. We try to make you feel as home as possible. So if you just moved here from Chicago or Pittsburgh, welcome home. I'll tell you, it's Wow, you could just stand there and look at that all day long. So anyway, it's exciting for us here growing up in Houston, but I'll tell you, it is so incredibly dangerous to be out on these freeways. Not a good idea to do so. In fact, this is North Freeway at 105, also up in the Conroe area. Looks like traffic is moving along pretty good, but again, look at the snowflakes beginning to come down now, and maybe seeing a little bit of accumulation now, although I still think most of that is sleet. But you know what? Could pick up maybe a ½ inch of snow, maybe 1 inch of snow before it's all said and done, because as we saw on David's radar, more snow, more precipitation is on the way before it's done. So again, you may end up making a snowman after all by the time all this comes to a close in a couple of hours. So again, check this out. This is the East Tex Freeway now at Lyons, and you can see maybe, I'm not sure what's going on here, obviously a stall of some kind. I'm not sure if that is ice related, but traffic moving along slowly. I think that is the key word there. And one of the things I want to point out, now I'm going to be headed home this evening, fingers crossed, that you see how wet the freeways look? That's very concerning to me, David. I don't know about you, but that to me has black ice written all over it. I'll tell you what, these freeways, if they are not an ice rink right now, they are certainly going to be, with temperatures dropping into the upper teens and lower 20s heading into the overnight hours tonight. So we've only got about another, what time is it, like 2 o'clock? We've only got about another 2-3 hours of daylight before that sun angle really starts getting low, and we're going to see things ice up really quickly. This is the Beltway out at Highway 90. Things appearing to be okay now. Now, here's another overpass, not nearly as ice or snow-packed as what we saw there on the north side, but again, with temperatures hovering in the mid-20s, it's not going to take a whole lot to freeze up these overpasses there. And it looks like maybe said KHOU, right? Oh, that's a police officer. So maybe checking out the freeways there. But some of the side roads are doing okay, although we are getting some reports now up towards the Cypress area of some side streets beginning to freeze up as well. This is 610 North Loop at Homestead. Traffic moving along okay, but again, I'm beginning to see that glazy look. The road looks wet, but again, with temperatures hovering in the mid-20s, I have a feeling all of this is turning to black ice pretty quickly. So if you are on the roads, time to get home, or if you're planning to leave, I really think the only time you should leave is if it is an emergency, as clearly things are going to ice up pretty quickly if they haven't already. This is I-10. This is out on the east side, out towards Wayside. Look at there. You can see the icing here on the sides of the roads. Looks like the main lanes are doing okay for right now, but again, we are seeing, again, underneath the overpass, we're getting seeing some of the ice accretion there on top of the surfaces. So it looks like no matter where you are, regardless of whether you're watching from Galveston County, whether you're watching from Waller County, Fort Bend County, I think we're going to see a lot of this just about area-wide. So, guys, this is, okay, so here's another one. This is at McCarty. Not seeing a whole lot in the way of icing here on this particular overpass. This is going to be, again, out on the east side of town where temperatures have been below freezing a shorter amount of time. So the reason why somebody tweeted me a little while ago, why is the focus all on the west and on the north side? Well, that's because they've been below freezing the longest. If you live on the southeast side, we're not seeing a whole lot of problems as of yet, because it's going to take a couple of hours for those freeways to cool down below the freezing point and get the water to begin to freeze. All right, so here we are back up on the north side. This is back in Montgomery County, I-45, the North Freeway at League Line Road. This is going to be just north of 336, getting up into northern Montgomery County. And again, you can see how we've got icing on both sides of the main lanes. Although 45 itself, this was closed earlier up in this area. Clearly, they have treated the roadways. They are back open, but now beginning to see perhaps maybe a little bit more of accumulation, perhaps maybe in the form of some snowfall now up on the north side. So be careful. Again, traffic looks like it's moving along fairly okay. Do we have any more traffic cams? Okay, I think we got one more traffic cam to go here, and this is going to take us out. Again, this is I-10. Okay, so we've already seen this one. This is out at Wayside, and looking at a little bit of ice accumulation there on the side of the road. So, guys, the moral of the story here, traffic moving okay if you absolutely have to get out, but we are beginning to see some of those freeways, especially up on the north side, East Tex Freeway there at the San Jacinto River. There you go. There it is right there, becoming ice and snow packed. So again, don't travel if you don't have to. Stay at home and enjoy this. Guys, this is kind of an exciting event. I mean, this isn't a hurricane, you know. I mean, this is something that this is going to rage in our memories for long after the snow melts.
Definitely way more pleasant than any hurricane, that's for sure. But we still need to be cautious and be observant of the things that the city and the county are telling us. And speaking of, Harris County Judge Ed Emmett has a briefing planned at 3, so we're going to get the latest from him from the Office of emergency management in regards to Harris County. Also want to pass along, we know there are so many families who are still trying to get their homes back together with Harvey. Some of those families don't have heat, so we've just learned from the American Red Cross that they have opened up additional warming centers at this time. South Main Baptist Church, that's a new facility that just opened as a warming center, as well as the Houston Sobering Center is open, and Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church too.
And certainly some people may have challenges with heating. The Houston Fire Department says it has responded to multiple structure fires due to improper heating of those homes. Residents certainly reminded to not use non-traditional ways of heating your house, like your stove or your oven. This can not only cause fire, but can also be a carbon monoxide danger. Remember, they say to keep at least 3 feet around your space heaters if you are using a space heater during this winter storm.
Yeah, you have to put safety first. I know everyone wants to be warm, and oftentimes people do want to stay in their homes. I mean, we're telling you just how dangerous it is to get out there on the road, but don't make your home a danger as well, too. Speaking of the roads, we've been checking in with crews all across the city and also to the north of us up near Montgomery County. Our Jason Miles is live in Conroe with a look at the situation there. Last time he witnessed an accident, we're hoping things have quieted down a bit up there, Jason.
Yeah, take a look behind me. The crash we showed you just within the last half hour or so, that scene has now cleared. The young lady who had a smashed front bumper was able to actually drive down to the next exit. And Mark, I don't know if you can zoom in way down there. You see the flashing strobe lights. I think that may be where the lady who crashed into the concrete barrier in the middle of 45 here was able to move her car. She exited, and I think is maybe filling out a report or whatever they're doing. I spoke with that witness who was from Australia, happened to be visiting the Houston area to fly into Dallas, where his daughter lives. Hopefully his flight is not one of the hundreds that have been canceled due to this weather today. Here in Montgomery County, just south of Conroe, we've seen things go from sleet just a little bit earlier to big chunky snowflakes right now. And along the roadside, you may be able to tell the accumulation here. I'm not really good at measurements, but maybe half an inch or so of snow accumulation here on the side of the road. People telling me they are taking their time, being cautious, overly cautious even, going maybe 45, 50 miles per hour, though. Some of these tractor trailers, they seem to be acting as if things are normal out here. They're going pretty fast. They probably need to slow down, and we've seen a couple of cruisers. I saw a Conroe police cruiser as well as a Texas Highway Patrol going by with their strobe lights on, perhaps responding to some other accidents. We have been reporting multiple accidents and crashes all over the place and have seen people skid out on our own, kind of go sideways on the interstate before correcting themselves and moving along on their way. So hopefully everyone who is getting out on the roads, A, they're not doing that. B, if they are, they're being really slow. And I must address what Blake Matthews was saying, talking about his fondness for winter weather and snow and everything. There is no romanticism about it, in my opinion. When you're out here on the side of the road, I will take 100 degrees and sunny any day, guys.
It is all a matter of perspective, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah, Blake's in here nice and warm and toasty. It's a little different.
It is, and coming from someone like myself who has lived in places like Syracuse, New York, and Buffalo, New York, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
The coldest of the cold.
The cold is the cold is the cold. I don't care. I don't care where it is, and I think sometimes here we're not used to it. Obviously, we don't dress appropriately, and that becomes even more of an issue.
And we don't know how to drive in it.
That's
why we need to stay at home.
Now, coming up at 3 o'clock, we'll have a briefing from TransStar in anticipation of that. Let's go to that location now live where Stephanie Whitfield is standing by. Stephanie.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm lucky it's toasty here too and dry, so I'm very happy with my assignment, but this is actually where, like you mentioned, all the information is going to be coming from. And earlier today, we have been getting periodical updates from the Department of Transportation, Judge Ed Emmett, Harris County Flood Control District, and essentially what they've been telling us is this is what they expected. The sleet started a little bit earlier than many of us thought yesterday, but it is about what everyone expected. And so right now, What crews are doing is they're going back over a lot of the roads that have started to freeze. They're treating it again. But what has changed is over the last 5 days, Department of Transportation crews were going around pre-treating a lot of the elevated roadways that were going to freeze first, a lot of the big connector ramps. And now they've had to move on to just some of the major roadways like I-10 going all the way from Brookshire all the way to 610, just going back over the roads that people are traveling on, making sure that there aren't any icy patches. Now, what you can do if you do happen to get out on the roads, I know we've been telling you over and over again that it's a bad idea to, but if you do happen to see an icy patch on the road, you can call county and city crews, let them know where those problem areas are. There's a list on Transtar's website that shows all of the icy patches, and like I mentioned, they're going over the roads again, making sure that there's that chemical solution on the roads, trying to make sure that the ice doesn't build up, and then also throwing some gravel and concrete on there just to make sure that people can get through without slipping. Now, the number that you can call is 311 if you're in the city of Houston. You can call and report some of those spots if you run into them. But one of the things that Judge Ed Emmett was telling everyone earlier is if you do have to get out on the roadways, since it's going to be a while before we get above freezing, you need to make sure that you plan your route. And so you can do that by going online to Transtar's website. They've got a link where you can see all the icy spots, and you can make sure that you don't want to go on any of the roads that are obviously closed because it's going to take you in a way that you necessarily weren't prepared for. But also you want to make sure that you're safe when you get on the roads. But again, we're going to have some more updates at 3 o'clock here at Transtar from Harris County Judge Ed Emmett, as well as Department of Transportation. So we'll give you that update as soon as we have it. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. And as you mentioned, Transtar just a few seconds ago or minutes ago saying I-10 Katy westbound at 610 West Loop and 290 the connect there. There's ice on the roadway. One lane is affected. So again, if you do have to go out or return home, definitely you want to check those roads and, of course, log on to KHOU.com for the up-to-date information.
Stick to the surface streets.
No
That's
doubt.
your best bet right now if you must go out. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to check back in with David Paul for a look at the timeline of this winter weather system. We'll be right back after this.